Yes, it's that time again. It's time for some bollocks! Get your bollocks in your ears. Get my bollocks in your ears right now. It's Talking Bollocks for... What year is it? What month is it? We're in the year 2018 and it is for the month of June. Just sneaking in towards the end of the month. As always, here I am, reliable as ever. Yep, that's right. It's UK Thrash Metal's lovable cunt, Howard H. Smith. I am your host. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Bollocast. Nay, the Bollocast. I have a name for my podcast. It's a Bollocast, kindly christened by somebody, I can't remember who it was. I think it was, no, it's gone. Can't remember. But anyway, welcome. Straight up, I'm going to start doing this because other podcasts do it. And, regular listeners will know this podcast is not like most podcasts. But apparently, I'm supposed to get you all to encourage you all to subscribe via your, whether it's Shite Tunes, whether it's Google, Rape Your Data Play, any podcast app. If you subscribe, you get all this straight away as soon as it arrives. But you found it and you're listening to it now, and to be honest, I'm cool with listening, wherever you're listening or however you listen. I'm cool with that. It's on YouTube, it's on all your podcast apps, it's on at allabouttherock.co.uk, who host the podcast. Many thanks to them. And I haven't thanked them for a while. God, what a twat I really am. Nay, a cunt. Let's get that in there early. Yeah, so you subscribe if you want. If you don't, then fair enough. If you happen to be passing by on iTunes, give us a review, make it really good or make it really shit. Anything in between, yeah, meh. 3 out of 5, not bothered. Give it 5 out of 5 or 1 out of 5. Slag me off or love me. That should be the title of my spoken word show. Slag me off or love me. Hey, what do you reckon, guys? What do you reckon? No. Okay, never mind. I'll move on. Right, so, as always, what has been going on in the world of metal in the last month that I can talk shit about? Well, not always talk shit. Sometimes I praise people and stuff. I'm not a complete twat all of the time, just most of the time on here. So... There's nowhere else to start, is there? You'll notice the change in tone of my voice. Normally, we like to keep it high on energy and high on laughs. Just light-hearted. But you'll be able to tell that, yes, there can only be one place to start. And that has to be with the death of Vinnie Paul. There's no doubting that Pantera changed the landscape of music. They made really fucking heavy tunes and occasionally fast tunes. They brought them back. It was them and Machine Head that kept thrash metal alive, which is of course, my baby, as I also sing in in Acid Rain, the UK thrash metal band, and I've been a stand-up comedian for 20 years as well. I do apologise. I've started talking about Vinnie Paul, trying to do a eulogy, and I realised that I hadn't mentioned those things in the intro. So sorry if this is your first time listening. I'm not that massive a cunt all the time. Anyway, sorry. I also just got a WhatsApp message from Pete, who's our bass player. So do you know what? I'm going to have to reply to that. Bear with me. Okay, sorry about that. There's no doubting that they became so successful, selling out arenas with a hard brand of metal that wasn't around at the time. Like I said, I think Machine Head sort of clung to Pantera's tailcoat a little bit, but Pantera made it so big that it kind of made it all right again for people to like that, that stuff that was that heavy, that aggressive, and in places that fast. I also think that Far Beyond Driven, Vulgar Display of Power, Far Beyond Driven, and Fear Factory's Demanufacture, the way those albums were produced would set the tone for the way that really heavy production was going to go over the next 20 years leading up to today, really. And obviously, you know, he was him and Dime were in Damage Plan. He survived the attack, went on to form Hell Yeah. Not a big fan of Hell Yeah, although if you go back in the archives, I did one of the first Talking Bollocks was with Chad Gray, formerly of Mudvayne and singer of Hell Yeah, and we got on like a house on fire. Really nice guy. Even talks a little bit about Mudvayne, although I was told not to by his PR people. Again, a tangent. Get used to it if you haven't heard before. Otherwise, you know. And went on to do Hell Yeah, and Hell Yeah have recorded 5 albums. The 6th is already, his drum tracks are already down, so I guess that's going to come out. I did crack a rather tasteless joke about Vinnie Paul dying, saying, so, you know, silver lining, no more Hell Yeah, but obviously that was a bit tasteless of me. But I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. But there might be another album. Although how the hell, you know, you put that out and then tour it and get somebody to play Vinny's drum parts. Yeah, good luck with that. So it is incredibly sad news. 54 is no age. I mean, I'm 48, and you know, I've got, you know, quite a fair few of my friends are in their early to mid 50s, and to think of them, you know. Well, I was going to say dropping dead, but apparently he died in his sleep. That's all the information we have at the moment, which is a great way to go if you think about it. Yeah, that is just no age. It really is. Although it has to be said, he lived life to the full. I mean, what he crammed into 54 years, some of us will never experience. Well, in fact, most of us will never. In fact, yeah, that's pretty much fucking, you know, well, all of you listening to this and me will never experience. That's a rather glib statement because I don't know who listens, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, I really am. I was just totally surprised, absolutely surprised. It's a loss. It's another loss. We're really getting punished in the metal community at the moment, with the loss of great artists. And Vinnie Paul is just another one in that long line recently that we've lost, which is just, it's so sad, really, isn't it? It's so sad. So rest in peace, Vinnie Paul. A lot of people have said, you know, he's going to be having a great jam with Dime in heaven. I prefer to think that they'll be having a great jam in hell. You know, for all the right reasons, because that's where all the best musicians are, let's face it. Who the fuck wants to go up, you know, who the fuck wants to go up and have a jam with fucking Frank Sinatra, for fuck's sake. Anyway, look, I digress. Rest in peace, Vinny. The metal community and the metal world is poorer without you. Moving on, another strange way to start the podcast. Right up front, I have an apology to make. I do. I have an apology to make. I didn't fall for clickbait, but I didn't read the whole story. I didn't do my due diligence on the Gene, yes, that's right, on the praise for Gene Simmons admitting he was completely wrong about cannabis. I mean, I should have smelt a rat, shouldn't I? I'm pretty much a fucking idiot for not realising this. Of course, turns out Gene, with such a forthright admission of complete ignorance, I should have known that there was something behind it. And it's Gene Simmons. What was going to be behind it? It was going to be money, wasn't it? It was always going to be money. That's right. Gene is become an ambassador for a company that produce cannabis products in the States. There you go. There it is. So for everybody who listened last month, and had their jaws on the floor about me praising Gene Simmons, yet forget I ever said a thing. He is still the money-hungry, litigious fucking whore. He always was. My apologies. I am a complete dick for not doing my research on that. And thank you to a number of you who pointed that out for me, and took great pleasure in doing so, and you were completely right to. Hands up, big old dickhead sat right here. Sorry about that. I would say it won't happen again, but you know me, it probably will, but I'm just sorry about that. Moving on, sort of on the same lines. Actually, I've been dealing with a fair amount of not just people getting really. really arsey on social media about stuff across all the platforms I manage. And I mean, because I've got the podcast, I've got the band, I've got my comedy side. I administer 9 social media accounts. Fucking what? How many, Howard? 9? Are you a knob? Are you a fucking idiot? Do you have time to do anything else? Well, no to all of those questions. And I'm just sick and tired of dealing with people who say things like, I'm sure most people, or a lot of people, or the majority of people. If you ever start a sentence with, I'm sure most people, or a lot of people, or the majority, after what comes out of your mouth next, I know, is just your opinion. And it's those people who try and give their opinion more weight by deciding that they are in the majority. That it is the deciding that despite the fact they have no empirical evidence, they have no statistics, they may have asked a few friends, and that's it. And they're your friends, so therefore, you haven't asked people you don't know. That they've therefore decided that is the majority. And the only reason they're doing that is to give their own opinion more weight. And it really winds me up. And I shouldn't get wound up by it, but it really does. It's just, if you ever find yourself in that position, don't try and make your opinion give more weight to your opinion by just throwing on the front of the sentence that you're pretty sure this is how everybody thinks. This is pretty much what, this is it. That's what people think. And I am the representative. I have asked everybody in the world about this subject, and we've all agreed that we are in the majority, and I have been nominated as the head of the group to speak for them. And it's just utter bullshit. It really is. I had this on the Acid Rain page the other day, and it was just like, dude, can you just tell me who you're speaking for? Because you've claimed you're speaking for a lot of people. So if you could just name some of those people who and obviously signed off on you representing them, that'd be great. And then we can take this seriously. But until then, shut the fuck up. And we move on. Positive news, Voivod, The Wake. That's right, Voivod have got a new album called The Wake. That's coming out in September. The follow-up to Target Earth, which I know some people were massive fans of. I just couldn't get into it, which I'm saddened about because I'm a huge Voivod fan. But obviously, I'm always going to be up for some new Voivod. So that's coming in September, and I know a lot of you are going to be, going to be out there as well. I'm going to be excited by it. So what else has been happening in the world of metal? Well, I'll tell you what. Some of you may know and some of you may not know the band As I Lay Dying. They came to an end a few years ago when their singer, Tim Lambesis, was found guilty of trying to hire a hitman to kill his wife. Yes, I'm not making this up. This is not a movie, okay? This is real life. The hitman that he tried to hire worked for the FBI, and he got sent down. And the remaining members of As I Lay Dying formed a band. Oh, by the way, I have to add, Christian metal band, okay? Big-time Christian metal band. Then the remaining members of the band formed a band called Woven War. I'm not a fan of As I Lay Dying either, which is rather an apt name if you think about it, for their, steroid-abusing, Bible-bashing, tried to get his wife killed singer. And let's not forget, leave his children orphans. Yeah, no wife. Kill the mother of his 2 children. Not sure that's allowed in the Bible, but anyway. Let's blame it on the steroids. I'm sure he has. So anyway, Woven War formed, different singer, couple albums out, hasn't really lit the world up. Lambesis is out of jail. They talked a lot about the situation. They had no idea that that he was going to do anything like this. Or obviously, as you wouldn't, you're just in a band with somebody, you can't read their fucking mind. You're not in their lives all the time. So anyway, this all of a sudden, about a week, 10 days ago. A new As I Lay Dying song appeared. No press release, no warning. It just got posted up on their Facebook page, on YouTube, and that's it. And no one has spoken from the band. They've not addressed any issues. They've not said, apparently there's not an album coming out or anything like that. I'm not going to name the song or anything like that because I refuse to give it any publicity, although I'm too fucking late because I've spent the last 5 minutes talking about this story. You dick, Howard! But just dropped out of their collective arses like a fat fucking stinking musical turd is a song with absolutely no explanation behind it. The fact that they are putting this out, given what has happened, you have to somehow communicate the fact that, oh yeah, Woven War's no more, or is it? We don't know. And now A, what a fucking sellout. B, what's the Bible saying about this? Yeah, I'd imagine that killing your wife, the mother of your 2 children, it's probably not. Oh, that's right, thou shalt not kill. Yes, thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife. Thou shalt not try and hire a hitman to kill your own wife. For fuck's sake. But then again, believe in forgiveness. And, he's done his time. He's done his time for the crime. But Jesus Christ, to just drop that fucking tune out of nowhere with absolutely no explanation and what's happening with Woven War, what's going on. It's just unbelievable. To be honest, not that I give a fucking single shit. 0 fucks are given here. But I do give fucks about the fact that this has just been, dropped onto the fucking heavy metal community by I don't know, a band who should know better. A guy who should know. I cannot get my head around it. It absolutely fucking stinks. But there you go. That is the world we live in. Just dropped out there. No fucking... just jaw on the fucking floor. What else is going on? Oh yeah, apparently we're gonna have some more Hollywood vampires. That's right. That's Alice Cooper, Joe Perry, and Johnny Depp. And it's the one where, Johnny Depp's on guitar. And they're in interviews going, people are going to be really surprised when they hear. Do you know what? Couldn't give a shit. Could not give a shit what Johnny Depp is like on the guitar. Or what your fucking stinking pile of rock and roll bullshit band is going to do next. Absolutely horrendous. Alice Cooper and Joe Perry, great. Getting Johnny Depp in there. Whatever. I got caught out, didn't I, last month by slagging people off for not staying in their lane and just doing what they're doing, and then realising that I'm a professional quizmaster, a podcaster, a stand-up comedian, I do spoken word, I sing in Acid Rain. Maybe I should stay in my own lane. Maybe I should get out of my own fucking way for once. And you know what? That's exactly what this motherfucker here is going to do. I'm going to get out of my own way. I'm going to get out of your fucking ears, and I am going to introduce the first fucking chat. That's right. This is a really, I'm going to say it's really cool. You might not think so, but I am saying it. I'm putting it out there right now. This was an enjoyable chat that I had with Marko from The Crown. I had a couple of songs on the podcast last month, and a few people have been in touch to say they really liked it. I'm loving The Crown, Cobra Speed Venom. Got to be album title of the year. Almost certainly going to be in my. In fact, I'm saying now it's going to be in my top 5. It's going to be in my top 5 albums of the year without a doubt. And we got to have a chat. Turns out we have a mutual friend, which you'll hear right at the beginning. Didn't realise, but this was a really enjoyable chat. That was so easy to get hold of, really cool to deal with. And hey, guys, played him last month. Hopefully, a few of you got the album, because now you're going to hear all about the history, cancelled gigs, tours, you name it, and recording of the new album, Cobra Speed Venom. This is Marko and I having a chat a couple of weeks ago. Enjoy.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you very much. It's been a quite an easy day. Well, I say easy. I've been doing all sorts of bits and pieces. You know how it is. But
yeah.
I've been looking forward to this all day. No pressure.
All right, good.
Now look, I've just been doing a bit of research, which is very unlike me. But I see that you have an ex-vocalist. You had an ex-vocalist, Jonas.
Yeah.
Is that the Jonas from God Macabre?
Yes, it is. also Jonas, who is in At the Gates nowadays. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. The weird thing is, he's a friend of mine.
Yeah, that's it. It's a small metal world, you know.
I know, it's so small. I did with my band Acid Rain. We did a festival in Portugal at the beginning of the year, and they were on, and Jonas couldn't wait to tell me that he was at one of the shows we played. I think it was the Gothenburg show that we played with Dark Angel and Nuclear Assault back in the day, 1989.
Oh, right.
And so...
yeah, it is a really small metal world. It's a lot of inbreed going on, so it's very... members share bands like ever before, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're right. It is a small metal world. I remember I had a conversation with Mike from Holy Terror a few months ago, and we couldn't believe the amount of people that we knew. And it's like he was telling this story about like, oh yeah, and our singer hit our tour manager with a baseball bat, and I was like, yep, that was our tour manager.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's a small, intimate world, you know.
It is, but it's what I love about it is it's a community, and now more than ever, we have to support each other. I mean, I remember being around back in the day, and it whilst it wasn't competitive, it kind of was. But now I find most bands, everybody is just got like, look, hey, no matter what it is, you wish everybody the best, because hopefully something cool will happen to you. So hopefully you get a song on a soundtrack. Hopefully you get a song on a big computer game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it also has to do with a lot of us have sort of grown up, you know. So instead of having that childish attitude, that's it's a lot of competitive thoughts, you know. So, but yeah, I think there's a room and place for everybody in this scene, and I wish them all the best. It's just how simple it is, and it's amazing because as you know, if there's a band, you know, whatever, Obituary doing a tour with Slayer, I mean, that always helps the scene, you know, and it creates more possibilities for bands, doing stuff on a higher level. So it is a teamwork, and it's just amazing to see. If you track back the years, like in Sweden, there's like a death metal band winning a Grammy and stuff like that. It's really amazing. Yeah. And I mean, people can argue about that for how long, you know, is it true enough or whatever, but for me it's just positive, you know. It's just create more opportunities.
Well, as far as I'm concerned these days, and you're right about the age thing, you're absolutely right. I mean, first time round, it was all about me and my opinions. Do you know what I mean? And and it was essential that the world heard all about me. Whereas now it's just like, oh, let's just have a good show, you know. But no, I mean, and especially these days, I think if you've got, you know, if you're playing a guitar with distortion on it through amps on stage, then we're all part of the same community.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I totally agree. And especially when you get a bit older. I mean, when you were younger, I know for my part, I had so strict restrictions of what was sort of okay and not, you know. Yeah. And you basically just accepted the extremist death metal or thrash metal or stuff like that. But nowadays I can enjoy such a wide range of, you know, metal and rock, you know. So I think you sort of calm down a bit. You sort of lower your defense a bit when you get older, because you realize that it's my opinion, but it's not the most important opinion in the world, you know. So there's no reason to sort of shove it down people's throats, you know. So
absolutely. I think it's the old, you know, wisdom is wasted on the young, you know. It's ultimately, you have to go through the journey to realise, you know what, this is I think it's perspective, isn't it? Age gives you perspective because you go through life, you have experiences, and I think it's really, really healthy for the band not to be the most important thing in your life.
It is, and if you look at our history, I mean, we did break up at the point, and we had a break of like 6-7 years. And now in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that we could ever do, because suddenly because we started playing when we were really young, early teens. We were 14 years old. We started playing together. Yeah. And from there on, I mean, you do the demos and you get signed, and all of a sudden it's like 2003 and we are releasing our, sixth album and playing Wacken. I mean, that's basically the only thing that we ever cared about until we called it off, Yeah. So when we had those years without the band and we sort of focused on the grown-up stuff, getting kids and families and shit in order, So, and when you get that hunger again to play, you are in it for the sort of real cause,
Yes.
So we all know that there's no extra money flowing in this scene, So it's not the financial stuff that keeps us motivated. It is the sort of rediscovering the passion of what we actually enjoy, and that is playing together. I mean, we're childhood friends, and creating stuff together, and still nowadays do stuff that we haven't done before. I mean, it was only like 3 years ago we first went to Japan for the first time, so it's really amazing, and we do still have a lot of those new goals in mind that we would like to achieve. Yeah. And I mean, to come back and everybody are on the same page, with the families and work stuff, so it's now it's really easy to be in the band, in my opinion. Yeah. It was more difficult back in the days because we couldn't afford to say no thank you to any offers, and we did a lot of shitty tours and all kinds of things. But nowadays we can sort of step back. Okay, should we do this? Okay, this is 3 weeks. Trying to figure out the sort of home logistics so that it works, in reality as well. So it's it's interesting. But for me, I'm really thankful that we had those years off. It gave us a lot of good, important perspective.
Well, I had very much a similar experience. I'd put 4 albums out by I was 21 with the band, and then we split. But we had 25 years off.
Okay. So you have a good perspective now.
Yeah. Well. The thing is that I spent 20 years doing stand-up comedy.
All right.
In between, and the weird thing is, what happened with the band is more reminiscent of my comedy experience, which was I did it for 8 years, and like you, I was just doing gigs, and you do stuff for the sake of it, and then I just totally fell out of love with it. And I took a 5-year break and then came back, and then funnily enough, bringing the band back a couple of years ago, the experience we had, that I had, was that everybody said yes, and then one by one all the other original members left because they just couldn't commit to the amount of time and everything else that was required because it had been so long.
Yeah, exactly. You need to really agree on what you expect from the others to commit. You need to be very clear on that, because otherwise it will crash and burn. And that's where I believe we are in sync. We know it's not like one of us wants to be a rock star and 4 of us wants to be home, So we do have that balance, that we do want to travel around and do good shows and release albums and, work with the best label or whatever. I mean, those are still very relevant for us. And but it's just how we can actually manage to do it. Because there is a point, because we do get a lot of offers, and we are, thank God, in a position that we can say that, no, thank you, it's not convenient now, we can't go to the US for 6 weeks. But we are today in that position that it's not a problem for us to say no thank you. Yeah. Because as I said, it's not the finance stuff. I mean, it's more about, making it work. Yeah. Because we are very aware of that. If we would start to accept all kinds of offers, then we would get pretty much consumed by the band thing, and pretty soon we will be all divorced, you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So there's something to sort of learn, and you know, it's not about that teen attitude, you know, kill or be killed. You can take a step back and sort of actually try to get your brain in there as well, and, you know, figure out a plan that works. So
absolutely. And the thing is as well, I think you know, when you're younger, it's like 6 weeks in the States, we've got to fucking do it. We've got to fucking do it. We've got to do it. Whereas now it's kind of like, well, another tour will come along that's not quite as long or at a better time, and you know, it's you. But when you're young, you think that if you don't take this opportunity, that you'll never do that ever again. You know,
exactly.
You know,
I'm really happy that we did those crazy stuff as well. I mean, we went on a 6-week tour in the US and met a lot of amazing people. But nowadays, it's not that easy, you know. So we have told our booking agency that what we are interested in is doing this. I believe they call them the sort of power weekends, that we go travel and we play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we go home.
Yes.
And then we plan another part of the world to do the same. So those things sort of work for us.
Yeah.
And of course, festivals and, you know, quick in and out stuff, that's always doable. But of course, if we would get like a really good offer, you know, do you want to open for Slayer for 10 weeks or something? That would be, I actually dread those questions, because that would be...
Yeah. That's when you find out how strong your marriage is.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I know what you mean. It's I know what you mean by those power weekends though as well, because ultimately, I mean, I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays now, unless you're at kind of Slipknot, Deftones level, that kind of stuff, you're gonna, well, not only are you going to struggle to pull a crowd, you're going to struggle to find a promoter who'll even put you on.
Yeah. I think that we were very strict when we talked with the label and the booking agent. We said that this is the way we can make it work. So don't give us any crazy, you know, offers, because we will say no, thank you, if you offer us, you know, a 6-week bus tour somewhere in Germany. You know, I mean, we've done it. It's not like I'm not saying that I'm better than that. It's just that it's really difficult to do, because you know, the whole sort of balance scale of family work and all that, it will get jeopardized.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say as well, it's not the band is not all consuming these days, and you know, your inverted commas life is more important than the band. So it's kind of like, you know, it's about the band making, you know, just making room in your life for it to still be enjoyable.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like you and your stand-up is your sort of hobby and passion, and if it gets too big, it stops being a hobby.
Yes.
It becomes something more, and that's always the sort of balance you want to find. Because I mean, if we would split up today, it's not like I will stop writing music. It's like, what should I do with those songs, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a tap you can turn off. So I really feel that we're in a very lucky position that we can actually do this and make it work.
Well, I tell you what, if that does happen, what you need to do is you need to give your old mate Howard in the UK a call, and he'll do some vocals for you.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, having said all of this about, you know, keeping sort of boundaries with the band and everything else, you've released an album 3 years after the last one. You're in danger of becoming prolific. That's quite quick for you guys.
Well, we used to be faster back in the days.
Yeah.
We usually release maybe every other year, but we decided that we can't fucking wait forever on these releases. We need to have some discipline in the band, you know, have some fixed rehearsal days, and, you know, get work done, because otherwise, I mean, all of a sudden 6 months have passed again, you know. So it's really, and there's also a lot of reasons why we decided that because I produced our 2 previous albums, and you know, when you do it by yourself, you have this in the back of your head that time is not an issue. We can do this for a year, you know. But you need to have a deadline.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
absolutely.
So that's why that was one of the reasons we booked Studio Fredman. We said, okay, we are going to come in there 2 extended weekends, and we're going to hammer down the drums, guitars. We're going to be there around the clock, and just make it work, you know. And that's what we did. So
I'm a big fan of deadlines. I think you do your best work under pressure.
I agree because, and also deadlines are really good because otherwise, especially today, when you can sit basically home and record an album, you know, and but you end up in a situation if you don't have a deadline that you will try to improve, change, and you don't in the end know when the album is done, you know. You just overanalyze everything and you redo stuff. So that's really dangerous things. I've heard about from other bands that, you know, they start an album but they never finish it because, you know, there are so endless possibilities what you can do nowadays.
Yeah.
So you need to have a sort of plan and a deadline, and sort of where you feel, okay, we recorded the guitars, they are done. And if there are some minor things there, then fuck it, doesn't matter. That's not the essential thing that everything needs to be played like a machine, you know?
Yeah.
So it just needs to be captured, the sort of band energy. And that's what we really tried with this album. We went, as I said, we went in 2 extended weekends. I think Henrik hammered the drums in 2 days, you know, basically first or second take. And that was really important because otherwise, you end up in that situation. You start, you know, moving around, fucking drum hits, and, you know, it becomes a machine product. And for me, that is not interesting at all because it's pretty easy to quantify stuff. You know, when you record, it's not difficult to make the drums sound like a machine.
Yeah.
But for me, that is not interesting at all, and that is nothing. I understand why a lot of bands do it, especially if you're a bit younger. And if you're like in a studio for the first time, and because usually, you know, when you're in the studio first time, you sort of realize that, okay, we're not as tight as we thought, you know. So that's usually the first wake-up call. And if there is a producer sitting there, I can edit the drums, so it will sound like fucking Slipknot or something. And so what do you think that young drummer will say? That so of course he will agree to getting everything edited. So that's a very evil spiral that starts, you know.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you should say that because we're going into the studio in July. We've put a week aside for the drums, and we're using ex-Slipknot producer Colin Richardson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So beware of that question in the end. When you say, do you want to get better drum tracks? Then you get.
Oh yeah. We're well aware. But the album sounds great, and I have to say there is definitely an old school feel about the production, without a doubt. There is that kind of old school grunginess. Which I like.
Really like that.
Yeah, no, I do, and it completely suits what you do as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, because that was something, as I said, we agreed when we went into the studio, but let's not overanalyze. Let's keep a little punkish nerve to everything, you know, and not, you know.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to say, I can definitely. I was going to say to you, you know, am I hearing things or not? But there's a definite punk edge in some of those songs on the new album. There's a definite, you know, I mean, something like We Avenge. That to me is you know, that's got nothing to do with death metal.
Yeah, that's. I really like to. I think I've done it on almost all of our albums. That I try to write something that isn't a typical sort of death metal formula, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, We Avenge is. I mean, if you listen to the beat and stuff like that, it's almost like a Rammstein, you know, monotonous backbeat going all the time, and very simple chorus and very simple riffs, and so it's really cool to sort of sometimes surprise with that kind of stuff, and
But it
and with the punkish stuff, I totally agree, and I think you can go back to what we discussed earlier, that when you grow a bit older, you can sort of embrace the more wider range of metal and rock. And I know Magnus, he's a huge fan of like Anti-Cemix and this very crust punk bands,
right,
super early Napalm Death stuff, a lot of the. So he's a huge fan of that, and that's really cool to bring into our sort of typical sound. And when we have a really sort of fast drummer, because so it's really cool to play these sort of D beats and stuff like that. It creates a different energy than doing blast beats all the time,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's kind of more of a groove, isn't it?
Exactly, because blast beat isn't anything fresh nowadays. I mean, when you hear it, sometimes when I hear a super fast American death metal band, I don't find it intense, because it becomes almost silly, because it's so fucking fast and everything is perfectly played and the kick drums go 300 BPMs. Yeah. I mean, it's so. But if you play like a fucking old school Napalm Death, Terrorizer, D-beat, for me it's more groovy. It's even more intense.
Yeah,
so,
I know what you mean about the modern death metal production as well, because blast beats, when they're quantified and gridded to an inch of their life, it just sounds like a drum machine.
Yeah, oh yeah. So that's sometimes I wonder, like, what the hell is he even doing in the studio? Why not program it from the start and save some time, So because they will grid it and make them perfect anyway. Yeah, but I also think that I know I have my wife's sister's kid is a lot older than me, and he really appreciates those new modern extreme death metal productions. But so I think it's also a sort of maybe a generation issue, what you are sort of used to listening to.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But for me, it's I can listen to a song or two, but then I lose interest, because there's no dynamics, and it's too perfect,
That's the key word there, dynamics.
Yeah.
Light and shade, and feel, and all those other things that can get lost if you concentrate on making everything too perfect.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's I've discussed it many times when I've done interviews, because I worked in a recording studio environment. I had an own studio for a lot of years and produced a lot of bands as well. So it's really interesting to see really how bands sort of come to a conclusion what is better for them. Is it to actually dare to be able to show your limitations in playing, or is it always necessary to sort of step it up in the studio to a level where you actually, when you are supposed to play it live, deep inside that you can never play it as good. So for me, that would be terrible. So it's better to lower the bar a bit, in the studio, so we can actually perform it and duplicate it live as well.
Absolutely. And don't get me started on bands that use Pro Tools live.
Yeah, that's a long discussion.
Do you know what? I've got a funny feeling it's not going to be a long discussion. It would just be a case of us both agreeing that that's fucking absolutely disgusting and should not happen.
Yeah, it happens for a lot of reasons, and those reasons aren't just. It's not right. They happen for a lot of wrong reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. But mainly business reasons, and sometimes an inability to actually play the songs.
Yeah, I think it's more about that in a way, and also there's a lot of sort of dark paths in that whole Pro Tools area, because as you know, when you're in the studio, when you listen back to a song, you just don't listen nowadays. You fucking look at the screen and you're trying to see where, so it becomes very dangerous. You sort of start to edit with your eyes instead of ears.
Yeah, listening with your eyes is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it is. It's a very dark path. So it's better to turn off the monitor sometimes and just listen, and accept your actual abilities. So for
absolutely.
me, it just brings out a more honest thing. I mean, it's like when we hear the old Napalm or old Terrorizer albums. I mean, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
But how come they're fucking 1,000 times better than nowadays albums? So it's I think when you start to not only listen critically, but you try to feel it, that's when you add an sort of extra dimension to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it comes back to that keyword dynamics as well.
Yeah.
And look, I've got a confession to make. I actually, I've discovered you on Cobra Speed Venom. I didn't know your previous stuff. And I actually discovered you through the Blabbermouth review.
All right.
And I just read it, and I was just fascinated by the fact that the review was saying, look, there's great death metal here, but there's also lots of other stuff. And said that We Avenge were like reminded the reviewer of Prong. And I'm a big Prong fan, and with the rest of the review, I just thought I'm going to check this out, and
cool.
And absolutely. So I'm going to be going down the rabbit hole on you guys, but I've got to fully soak in Cobra Speed Venom first, because I'm still discovering things about it, and my favourite tracks keep still kind of varying.
All right. Do you have access to the bonus tracks?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, because they were intended to be on the main album from start, so it's not like any bonus crap we threw in there to add songs.
They're
they
fucking
were actually
great.
To be on the original album, but the playing time just were too long, and the label wanted to add a song to Digipack and stuff like that. So we gave them actual good songs. So that's...
Oh look, I mean I think it's Nemesis Diamond is fucking intense. That's a great track.
Yeah, it's intense. It has that sort of old school feel to it in a way. Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
No, like I said, luckily, I was able to get access to the bonus tracks, and I mean, I'm just really, really. If you put it this way, it's a bold statement, but I reckon that almost certainly it'll be in my top 5 albums of this year. I really do feel like I've discovered a gem here, and it's kind of like you've been around all these years as well. I kind of feel bad. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh shit,
I'm just really happy to hear that we even today can sort of get new fans. That's amazing, because I would really hate to be in that category that, they used to be good 15 years ago, and it's only the people buy their album for nostalgic reasons. So it's really cool to hear that there's still sort of new people that, more meat to the grinder,
Well, I don't mind being shoved in that grinder. I mean, well, to give you some idea, I usually play one song on my podcast, and that's it. And I played 2 tracks from Cobra Speed Venom on the podcast that came out on the 1st. At the end of May. And I've had lots of messages from people saying, "Wow, really, really digging The Crown. Gonna check everything out." So hopefully that makes up for it a little bit.
Thank you very much.
I mean, it's one of those things where I was excited to play them on my podcast. I was just excited for everybody else to hear, because I felt like and again, I think that's something that is maybe it's kind of unique to the metal community, which is if you discover something, you want to tell all your metal friends about this new discovery.
Yeah, I agree with that mentality 100%. It's like when we discover something, you want to be the new sort of Jesus to spread the gospel and get new followers, That's the amazing thing. And nowadays you can fucking spam people on internet, and people think that you're an idiot, but you just want to sort of better their musical taste by giving new music.
But exactly. But I think in our community it's always been the case. I mean, we can go all the way back to tape trading.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that was I mean, that was literally, you know, who can find the most obscure band, you know,
Exactly.
and start training.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was all about that. It's really amazing. I think the sort of spread the word mentality still continues, of course, but it's just in such a different format.
It's just easier now. I mean, I remember back in the day, I traded our very first demo, well, our first proper demo with Moshkinstein. I traded that with Jeff Waters for a copy of his Alice in Hell demo, where he plays all the instruments.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I can also remember, you know, there's of course a lot of good bands from UK that came, you know, that ended up on Earache and Peaceville and all those labels. So a friend of mine, he was basically the one who got me into the whole death metal. He had the first Paradise Lost, you know, demo tape, and I'm a huge Paradise Lost fan. And you know, from there on, you know, all those Earache bands that came along, and yeah, it's really amazing. It's good times, really good times.
Well, let's play 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, except with heavy metal. Believe it or not, not only are we connected through Jonas. Try this on for size. We did a gig. We did a gig in Bradford in, I think, 1989. Second on the bill was Reanimator, and third on the bill opening, doing their first ever gig, was Paradise Lost.
Wow. Cool.
And they were. I mean, you know, Nick knows this because I tell this story. They played for about half an hour. They were shocking and played one song twice. But hey, you know, from humble beginnings, you know, from
exactly.
It's
really fun to see their. I mean, when they released the first album, they so quickly released the VHS tape, you know, that live thing.
Yes.
And today, when you see it, you see a bunch of young kids, you know, playing a lot of passion. Maybe not the abilities are up there, but for me, that's fucking beautiful. It's really great.
Yeah, it's kind of spooky. I mean, have you ever been tempted, or do you ever you ever come across stuff and there's footage of you playing when you were like a young kid?
Yeah, I've seen some stuff, and it's just scary. But there's this little glitch there, because if we would have been a bit more younger, I'm sure everything would have been on YouTube, you know.
Right.
So, but there are still some very bad copied VHS tapes, and we did release a DVD a lot of years ago. We tried to include, you know, the first time we played in a, you know, youth community here in Sweden, you know, without amps, you know, for 20 people, you know, stuff like that. So, but it's interesting. Today, I remember when I was a bit younger, for me it was terrible to see those old shows, but today now I can look at it with sort of different eyes and see the sort of innocence in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. There's a ton of stuff from our early career, including I think a TV interview I did when I was 19, and I know, and I'm just kind of like, oh my God, how young am I? I mean, my voice is barely broken. It's just it's just fucking embarrassing, man. It really is. But you know, it's out there. So, you know, such is life. There's a lot worse things. Yeah. But
maybe the good thing that everything is not on YouTube, you know. So maybe it's good.
Yeah, and also, but funnily enough, there's a lot of comments underneath going, oh, you know, I remember seeing this TV program and getting into your band because I saw this, and it's actually for one video on YouTube, it's really weird. I actually prefer reading the comments than watching the video, because normally it's just like, don't read the comments. No, it is actually quite cool.
You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry about that. So
you're breaking up a bit. I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Okay, no problem. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now it's good. That's good.
Right, okay, cool. And also, the other thing that I have to say that the Crown does differently for me and works for me, because I have to be honest and hand on heart, I'm not particularly a fan of death metal. but you have a vocalist who actually can carry a tune and has some melody in his voice. And I think it just it makes so much difference, because death metal vocals for me can really just turn into, well, you're just making, it's just like vomiting down the mic. And I do think that makes a difference with you guys.
Yeah, thank you, and I agree. That's sort of something we discussed very, very early when we started playing that. What we enjoy in a sort of death metal vocalist is the ability to articulate, and
yes,
you don't necessarily need to read the lyrics. You can actually hear stuff, and I think Johan is just getting better with that all the time. And for me, my favorite death metal singers like David Vincent, Morbid Angel, I mean, even Nick Holmes was pretty good at articulating. I mean, it's not that silly Cookie Monster, super deep, you sort of see in your head how they have their hands around the microphone,
Yeah.
That sounds so sick.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's really important that he can actually articulate and, as you said, it can make sense, So, and that's something we try to work a lot with. If there's like a song like We Avenge, very simple, the riffs, you need to have something rhythmic over that. So
yes.
That's what we try to do with the vocals. And I think Johan is one of the better doing that type of sort of, articulated death metal,
Well, it's not often one vocalist complements another, but I am doing that. I mean, he enunciates really well, and you're right. You don't need to. I mean, I like to read the lyrics anyway, but you don't need to actually read the lyrics. But also, you're not afraid of writing a chorus either, which is, and by that I mean something that I can actually tell is a chorus, as opposed to well, this must be the chorus because it keeps coming back, but there's nothing that but other than that, that's the only thing that tells me it's a chorus. Your choruses are constructed like a chorus should be.
Well, thank you very much. It's really interesting to hear a new opinion from someone that hasn't heard the full back catalog, but because that is something we really sort of struggle with. We want to have those choruses. We want to have that normal song structure. And that's something we started for seriously maybe on our third album, starting to sort of realize that it's not about having 50 riffs in a song. You need to have choruses, and you need to sort of do something extra creative maybe for the last chorus. That typical thing how you build a song. And that's something you learn a lot actually by listening to a lot of punk bands. Because there is structure in that sort of madness in there. I mean, they're good songwriters. I mean, it's like older. Well, it's not punk, but this sort of goth punk bands, especially from UK. There's a lot of. I mean, it's really cleverly written songs, and that's something we really try to achieve as well.
Well, you have, as far as I'm concerned. It's an absolute breath of fresh air. It really is. And I was on your website as well, and I noticed you had to cancel a show in London. That was a shame. Was there? I hope it wasn't anything terrible.
No, that weekend was a fucking nightmare. It was pretty bad because we haven't played in UK for so long time, and we managed to get this show in Dublin and London, and in our third show. And the day before we were about to leave, Magnus' daughter was hospitalized.
Oh no!
They thought that she would have, I believe it's called blood poisoning or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So it was pretty serious. So the first shock was, okay, we need to do this without Magnus. So okay, let's do it. Let's not cancel anything. And then we do the Dublin show, and then we heard that the promoter in London wants to cancel the show. Because fearing low ticket sales and stuff like that. So that's a really annoying feeling you get. Like you try to make gigs work, and then it turns the other way around. But you're not welcome here, by the way. So it's that was really bizarre. But the shows we did were good. I mean, they were good.
Yeah.
But it was a shame that we couldn't do London, because we've done it before, and we have made it work. So, I mean, if there would have been 10 dedicated people there, we would have given hell of a show.
Well, I hope you make it back over here. Where were you due to play?
Underground.
Oh, right. Underground. Yeah. Oh, the Underworld.
Underworld, sorry.
Yeah. No. Well, no, I've played it many times. Yeah. No, that's a real shame, because that venue is absolutely built for what you guys do. It's built for.
Yeah, exactly. We played there 2 or 3 times before, so we were sort of looking forward to it. But it just the gods were not on our side.
Oh, that is a real shame, because like you say, you've played there before. That's not the kind of call that you're expecting.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. It was really weird the whole weekend, but it's not the last time, because for me, I'm not gonna let it sort of cast a shadow over our previous sort of UK experience. So we will return.
So did you have to basically fly back to Sweden from Dublin?
Let me see. All the flights were done. I think we did like 6 connected flights that weekend. That was a mess. So we had all the flights to London. So we basically flew to London and ended up in a hotel and opened up a beer. That was like how it was.
Oh, right, okay. So you're in town.
We had a lot of discussions, because we said, okay, we're going to be there anyway, so we can fucking play, So it became really silly. And so the promoter preferred to cancel it.
Oh, that is a real shame. That is a real shame. But, well, I mean, have you got many dates lined up?
It's not in UK, but we have some dates. First, we have here in our hometown, and then we go to Finland in July for it's like an in and out one show in Helsinki. Then we go to Croatia for the first time ever. That's
wow!
And then we are working on some more stuff for the fall, and then in September we're going to Japan again.
Brilliant.
So in December we have a plan that we will try to make hopefully a full week of shows in Europe, because it became so silly, because it struck us as this album was the first album we broke into the official German sales, the charts.
Oh wow, well done.
And we don't even have a show booked in Germany.
Right, okay, so
yeah. So like, we need to do something creative here. So hopefully get it done in December. So
the biggest territory for physical sales in the world, and you've broken into the charts. Yeah, it might be an idea to do a show there.
Yeah, because we were so surprised, because we ended up on, what was it? Was position 34? I mean, that's
wow.
That was such a shock. So it never happened before. So that was really cool.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I think the Germans are single-handedly keeping physical sales alive in Europe.
They're a big part of it, and that's amazing, because, as you know, that is what basically keeps this wheel in motion.
That and T-shirt sales.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But to sell T-shirts, you need to be on the road,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're all glorified T-shirt sales, buddy. We're all just glorified T-shirt sales.
I had a funny discussion with other band. He said, we should stop playing music. Let's just travel and sell merchandise. That's where the money is.
Well, the funny thing is that's what we are doing. The whole point of putting a new album out just means that you can bring your new collection with you. you'll be playing some music while people peruse your new collection of merchandise.
That's true.
It just gives us an excuse to get back out on the road and sell some more shirts. Are you involved on that side of the of the business at all? Do you get involved with merch designs and things like that?
Yeah, we are still sort of lucky in that sense that we managed to approve everything that is released in our name. So there's not like a label that does 15 funky designs that we never approved. I mean, everything has gone by us, and we approve them and try to sort of maintain a bit of control over it. So
And how have the label been? It's this is Metal Blade, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's sort of back to Metal Blade. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And how did that happen?
When we broke up or split up, and when we sort of did the comeback, we intentionally wanted to do not sort of go back to where we were before. So we said that let's try a new label. Let's try everything different, just to keep the sort of energy fresh. So we signed to Century Media when we did the comeback, and we released 2 albums with them, and the contract expired, and we basically learned that Metal Blade is a better home for us. So we went to Studio Fredman and recorded a quick demo of 3 songs, and the only label we sent it to was Metal Blade. So we sent it to them like, what do you think of the new songs? Because I knew that we were in a bit of weird situation, because our previous album turned out maybe not as good as we would have wanted for a lot of reasons. And then we had the album before, we had a different singer, so they didn't really know what to expect from us. So we really felt that we wanted to do the old school thing and, send the demo and sort of actually make them hear the songs so they can decide if they want to, re-sign us. Yeah. So they wanted to re-sign us right away. So that's from there on, we just went into the good cooperation again, because I really like a lot of the people that work for Metal Blade, and there's still a lot of people still working there that used to work with us, during our best albums we released. So I think they're a really good label.
Oh, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. Definitely going to send them our album when it's finished, and you never know. Fingers crossed, we might end up being label mates.
Yeah. Who knows?
As regards lyrically, who writes the lyrics in the band?
In the past, Magnus used to write most of it, and sometimes I write lyrics for my songs if I have a good idea. But basically, ever since Johan came back into the band, we have pushed it that, he's the singer, and he should also, write lyrics and, stuff like that, because otherwise I usually tend to think a bit differently than he does. You're a singer. If I write you a lyric, it doesn't completely make sense to how you are typically articulating and breathing and stuff like that. So we really wanted to Johan to do a lot of that stuff as well. Yeah. So nowadays we have basically 4 guys in the band writing lyrics. It depends on what is sort of needed. Yeah. And sometimes if there's like We Avenge, I heard the sort of lyrical patterns right away when I wrote it, so that's why I decided to write the lyric to it. And but sometimes if you're struggling with something, it's better to have a fresh pair of ears, listening to the verse and chorus and try to figure out something together. So for me, it's really important that we act as a band, that we act as a team. Yeah. And, we've never been in the situation that you are not allowed to tell me what to write or play. We are always, giving options and suggestions to each other. That, let's try this and let's try this. So really, try to avoid that ego sphere. So, and for me, when it becomes a team effort, that's also when I believe we do the best stuff.
Yes, Yeah, no, well, if you can, well, yeah, a band ideally should be a one functioning organism.
Exactly, and it's not easy. I mean,
no.
don't we know? It's not easy at all. I mean, but yeah, I mean, we're not kids anymore. We know our strengths and limitations. We know what to expect from each other, and usually, I mean, for us, it has turned out very sort of logically how everything works. Magnus is a pretty word wizard guy. You know, he usually comes up with titles and phrases and album titles and stuff like that. And he also has a strong vision about the graphics. So Magnus usually contributes a lot with the graphics and titles to albums, and then we sort of take it from there.
Well, that does bring me on. I swore I wasn't going to mention this because it'd be the kind of boring question that everybody else will ask, and I try not to do that. Cobra, Speed, Venom. Now there's an album title.
Exactly.
Yeah. No one else is releasing an album called that this year. So where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, it's actually an old idea. It's really old idea. Magnus came up with it. I believe it was straight after we did the Hell Is Here album. He said, "I got this cool new title." And he said, "Cobra, Speed, Venom." And first time I heard it was, "What? What did he say?" It's like, "Yeah, Cobra, Speed, Venom." So my first sort of image in my head was, "What's Cobra? Cobra Kai from Karate Kid, or what the hell?" You know, I mean, it became. But then the years went by, and we were discussing title for this album, and I remember it. I told Magnus, "Do you remember that title? We had Cobra, Speed, Venom." Now, after sort of 10 years, it has sort of sunk in, and I'm starting to appreciate it and understand the sort of how in so many different ways you can interpret it. So, from there on, we started to build the graphical stuff and to sort of make it work in the end.
Yeah.
We agreed first on the title, and then we sort of tried to make sense of everything. So there is a good sort of red thread going through there, especially with the lyrics for that title track as well. And it goes hand in hand with the graphic artwork, with this massive wave coming there, because I wouldn't say the lyrics to that song is political, but there is a sort of atmosphere there that there's something pretty big and bad sweeping across this planet right now, and a lot of hate stuff being spread on the internet, and a lot of false accusations becomes truth to people. And
you could don't worry. You can just sum all of that up in one word: Trump.
Exactly, that's true. So that idea that grew into the Cobra, Speed, Venom, being something venomous sweeping across in a fucking Cobra speed. You cannot basically defend yourself because it's too massive tsunami wave of hate going around now. So that was the sort of the idea that we sort of tried to tie the knot.
Oh, well, good, because my idea, I just thought it sounded like a good night in. Yeah. I've got my Cobra, I've got my Speed, I've got Venom, Welcome to Hell.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of cool stuff, because one of our most popular albums is an album called Death Race King that we released years ago. And there was this guy, he sort of said, "Okay, now I have figured it out. You are doing a new Death Race King because, death being the Cobra, speed being the race." And, so he saw that sort of link, and we were like, "Oh, you must be much cleverer than we are."
Well, look, I've got. There's another question that I did swear I'd ask this question to myself. Are there any Slade fans in the band?
If there is, I would say Robin, because he's all about a lot of rock stuff and old stuff. So, I can imagine there are some vinyls in his collection with Slade, yeah.
Right, okay.
Do you hear it?
Well, there was... The reason I ask is the song In the Name of Death has the refrain, "Come on, feel the noise."
Ah, all right. Now I get you. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Because if you read that lyric, it basically tells a story of us growing up when we got in contact with extreme metal. You know, how you want everything to be more fucking bad all the time. You know, you just crave for that more extra metal all the time.
Yeah, so all metal all the time.
Yeah, so that's what it is. And there's a lot of other references there as well to like Master of Puppets and, you know, the albums that meant the world for us when growing up. And so yeah, you are correct. That was Johan's bizarre idea to steal the "Come on, feel the noise."
That is awesome, because when I was listening, first time I listened to it, I was like, did I just fucking hear that? I was just like,
isn't it Quiet Riot or is it Slade?
It's Slade. Quiet Riot covered Slade.
Oh, that's true. That's the way it is. Yeah.
So yeah. First time I heard it, I was like, "Is that really? Come on, feel the noise." I was like dragging the slider back, going like, "Come on, I'm going to play this again. Come on, it is." And anybody who comes around my place, I've been boring them to death. Anybody who comes around, I'm like, "Sit down, listen to this." It's like, check out some death metal with a Slade influence. And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? Listen to this." They're like, "Oh, you're right, yeah."
Busted.
Absolutely. But do you know what? I'm feeling quite pleased with myself now. I thought there's no way this Swedish death metal band are referencing Slade. Surely not. But maybe he was referencing Quiet Riot. You never know.
It could be, yeah. Because my first idea was that no, it's not a Slade song. But you are correct. Of course, Slade did the original one. But I guess. Yeah. For us, maybe the Quite Right version was the more popular one, but yeah.
Well, then
there's a lot of old rock stuff in our vinyl collection. I can guarantee you that. So.
Well, them being a UK band, we probably hear their version a lot more than Quiet Riot's version.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Of course. Yeah.
You know, so it's Slade at Christmas time. You know, it's playing everywhere, and you'll always hear like a couple of old standards, but. That usually gets wheeled out probably once a year, something like that. But that's really cool. Well, look, Marko, we're coming up to an hour. What I'd like to do is just to finish this part of the interview. I have some subscribers who've submitted questions.
All right.
So if we can finish the main interview, and then this will be for the subscribers. But for the moment, don't go anywhere. But just for the moment, thank you very much. It's been awesome.
Yeah, enjoy your evening. Thank you very much. It's a lot of fun.
Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And there you have mine and Marko's chat. God, that sounded a bit Jimmy Savile for those of you who... And I have my market. Anyway, less said about that, the better. It was an accident. I'm sorry. So, I really enjoyed that. I hope you found it informative. I certainly did. It was really surprising when I found out that Jonas was in them for a couple of years, and I did message him, and he was like, "Oh, say hello." I was like, "It's too late to say hello. The interview's up." But anyway, hopefully I'll get Jonas on from At the Gates at some point as well, because I think I said in the interview how I met him and how I know him, and he's really, really, really cool. So anyway, but rather than going off on a tangent about an interview in the future, which I haven't even got booked yet, that was really cool. It was really, really enjoyable. And there's also extra stuff on there for Patreon subscribers, which is patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. If you want to join us, it's $5 a month. That's £3.80. It's a couple of coffees, probably not even that a month. So anyway, I've pushed that enough. If you want to sign up, it'd be great. And it really would be great, believe you me, because. Well, it just would. Anyway, that was one thing I have to apologise. Actually, it's funny I mentioned a couple of coffees there. I have to apologise for introducing that video. That video, Jesus Christ, get my shit together. I introduced. What the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking twat? Hang on, right, okay. There we go. I've had some water. I've washed my mouth out of the gibberish. I introduced that interview by saying, here's the interview, enjoy. I hate that. I hate being told to enjoy by some fucking idiots. And coffee shops are the worst. You know, you get a Costa, get whatever, you know, say, and they hand you, you know, it's like, it's, you know, £5.80 for a fucking squirt of coffee or whatever it is, and they go like, and they hand it over to you, you go, enjoy. I say, well, I don't need instructions with my coffee. Yeah, it's bad enough that you're printing, this is hot on the cup, never mind telling me to fucking enjoy it. That's why I've bought it. I haven't bought it to scald my legs with it. I haven't bought it to throw it down a sink. I haven't bought it to put it on the counter and walk away without it. I've bought it to enjoy. Of course I'm going to fucking enjoy it, you cunt. It just does my fucking brain in, it really does, as you may have gathered by that. But anyway, more more stuff to talk about now. This is going to be something new. I've clicked the wrong thing on my computer. I'm now opening fucking Outlook. I didn't want to open Outlook. Fuck off, Outlook. No, closing you bastard. Right, it's not Outlook's fault, is it? It's my fault. I opened it. Sorry, Outlook. It's my fault. I do apologise. Right, I have got the new Van Canto, the new Van Canto single queued up. But it's a lyric video. Now, look, I just got to... Van Canto are the all vocal, apart from the drummers, band. Their new album is called Trust in Rust. Yeah, that's right. It makes no sense whatsoever. And the new album, Trust in Rust, covers a wide stylistic range from melodic bombastic, showcasing the band's takes on ballads, hard rock, ball breakers, and speed metal anthems. With all the will in the world, I have to point at this point before I play the lyric video. Okay, they are German. There is no sense of irony in what you're about to hear. Okay, and I apologise if you're in Germany listening to this, but come on, you know, if you're German, you know what I'm talking about. There is Van Canto says, if you release 7 albums in 12 years, Jesus, really? You aren't able to rust. Nevertheless, the new album is rougher and more metal. It's a composite work of all 7 bandmates, full of new ideas without losing the good old Van Canto style. We are still excited about what we're doing, and we believe in ourselves. Well, that's great, lads and lasses. I'm glad, or rather, lass. Sorry, there's one woman. I don't know. After #MeToo, I don't even know what to call women anymore. Is it just fucking another person? Okay, a person who isn't a bloke is in the band as well. No, that's even worse. Jesus, Howard, can't go with that. They have right. They're all male, and there's one female. Is that okay? I don't know anymore. I don't know. Christ. Anyway, right. Here we go. This is the new single. I'm going to play it. I'm going to cue it up here. Welcome to our show. Speaker's going to blow. Oral vertigo. Some changed the high road. Still, our mission's still the same. Back and burn for action. Wilder than before to kick your ass. Catchy as fuck corners. Welcome to our go. Because our drummer's killing. Speaker's going to blow. What's oral vertigo? Reunited, keep on fighting. You've got to admit that as a chorus. It's just the lyrics, for God's sake. I just cannot take it seriously. You know, anyone who says they're out to kick your ass, it's back in the lead to entertain you, strongly unique since our debut. Who wants to reap must sow and rock the show. Yeah. Back in the lead, we never stopping, we kick your asses down the road. A vocal rock attack. Right, okay, look, that's enough of that. I'm just saying, Van Canto, I'm sorry, I'm not having any of it. I mean, it is completely fucking irony-free. They are purely just, I mean, bless, you know, good luck to them. They're having I nearly was very patronising and said bless them, but, you know, look, good luck to them. They're having a good time. 7 albums in 12 years, eh? This cunt is about to start recording first album in 29 years. So I guess from a productivity point of view, you know, I have no standpoint. I have a shit standpoint. I have, well, you know, I'm just fucking redundant, really, am I, compared to that? But I'm just saying that it's fucking hilarious. I find it funny. I'm sorry. I find it funny. And I really struggle to get my head around it. I mean, their cover version of Master of Puppets is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. It really is. Apocalyptica, cellos, I'm having that. I love that. Really cool Apocalyptica. I've seen him twice. I've seen him headline a show and I've seen him support Rammstein on a couple of times actually. But I'm afraid Van Canto, sorry, I'm just not having it. I really cannot get on board with that. So anyway, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? And thanks to Pete Gray, who sent me a link about the Hair Nation tour. Yes, that's right, the Hair Nation tour. This is what we're going to get. Now, unfortunately, I thought the link I've just clicked was to the Hair Nation tour. It's actually about something completely different that I want to talk to you about. So I'm now, right, man Googles, I'm on DuckDuckGo, remember? DuckDuckGo, because, yeah, I was telling you this before we found out everybody was raping you of your data. Basically, DuckDuckGo, which is duckduckgo.com, does not track any of your searches, does not hold any information on you. It is completely private searching. I'm just saying that, you know, that's a cool thing. And I'm bullshitting now, as most of you will be able to tell while I look up the Hair Nation tour. Right, okay, Hair Nation. Here we go. This is what, and thanks Pete for sending me the link, which I've completely lost. The Hair Nation show is Jack Russell's Great White. That's right, not even Great White. Okay, I wonder if it's just a Jack Russell. Wouldn't that be fucking awesome? Just a bunch of musicians with a Jack Russell on a stool, you know, just doing all the songs. That'd be great, right? But it's Jack Russell's Great White. Okay, the Bullet Boys and Enough's Enough. I mean, talk about it. It's not that they they're not has-beens. There never were beens. Great White, the Bullet Boys, Enough's Enough never ever really reached the heights. I would imagine the three of those will just about be able to sell out a telephone box, if telephone boxes even exist anymore. And to younger listeners, go and go what a telephone box is, because I'm not fucking spending time educating you on what that is. Anyway, Hair Nation tour, you can get tickets now if you're a fucking tone-deaf idiot. Feel free. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was, Tommy Lee's been at it again, hasn't he? I told you about the little spat he had with his son on Instagram. He's a fucking dick, right? His latest one was being a father ain't easy. I'm so tired of the fake shit I keep seeing over Instagram. Let's be real, it's a roller coaster, okay? Tommy wrote. My father taught me to respect everyone and everything. Blah blah blah. You get the picture. when I had a child, my first child, I wanted to instill those same virtues into him, referring to his son Brandon. Sometimes I feel like I failed as a father because my kids show no value of things. If they break something, they don't get blah blah blah. Okay, and I've got to say I agree with his points towards the end there. He feels like he's failed. If they break something, they don't care because they know they'll just be a new one. If they that is your fault, yeah. And he's gone on and on and on about this. But his son, who seems really cool, has come back and said, remember what happened last time you said shit that night? You gotta show up to be a dad, big guy. If you think we're so bad, which I can assume you are not, then you should have showed up a few more birthdays and a few more baseball games. Ouch! Someone like you couldn't raise a man like me. Once again, painting our family in a negative light. Who the fuck are you? Just move on, dude. We all have. I'll put you right back to fucking sleep. Brilliant. And it was he put that up with a screenshot of his dad, it was just don't conduct family business on fucking social media, because then some cunt like me can spend at least 5 minutes taking the piss out of you. I mean, it's really not worth it. It really, really fucking isn't. Anyway, that's enough jibber jabber for me for now. It's time we get into another interview. Now, I must warn you, this interview is quite quiet. I don't know why. It was done over Facebook Messenger. I had to hold the speaker right up to the mic at times, so there might be the odd click here and there. But it's just quiet, so you might have to turn it up a bit. Don't do that yet, because I'm going to have the sting before the interview. But it might be good. It's okay in place, but for some reason it was very quiet, so you might need to give it a bit of vol. And at the end of the interview, I will leave a gap for you to turn the volume down before I come back in. Because why? I don't want to blow your ears. That's why, and because I like you. So this is me and my great friend, longtime buddy, bass player for Dark Angel. Some exclusive news coming up in this interview, so have a listen. There is some exclusive stuff coming up about what he's up to. Not necessarily it gives an update on Dark Angel, but also what he's up to, and an interesting collaboration, and it's an exclusive in this interview. You won't have read about this anywhere, so enjoy my chat with Mike Gonzalez, or as he will always be known to me, Gonz of Dark Angel. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you, buddy?
Good. Sorry it took a minute. I had to set my phone up to work through the messenger, turn on the microphone and stuff.
Yeah, is this a completely new experience for you?
Yeah, actually it is. I don't think I've ever used Facebook to talk to anybody. I've had calls, but I've ignored them because I'm not so good at that. But
you've had calls, but you've ignored them because they weren't from me.
Well, that's yeah, we can go with that. Well, yeah. But no, I get calls from people that I have no idea who they are.
Oh yeah, that's
somebody sees that I'm on Messenger on Facebook, so they call and want to talk about Dark Angel. I was like, I don't know who you are.
I know, it's fucking weird, isn't it?
Yes, very weird.
I mean, it's great at gigs and stuff, and it's nice to be tagged occasionally in stuff, but I don't know, it's kind of weird when you get the feeling you've been sort of stalked somewhat.
Yeah, when a complete stranger tries to contact you and talk to you about things, it's like, that's just not appropriate. I would never think to do that.
Yeah, it freaks me out not freaks me out, but when I get friends requests from people I don't know, but they're obviously like a fan of the band, it always weirds me out, because I'm like, great, you like the band, that's wonderful. That doesn't make us friends, though.
Yeah, I haven't sent out a friend request myself in years, but I get them daily.
Yeah.
And I usually once a week I'll go through all my friend requests and then I check the person out before I accept them.
You do your due diligence.
Yes, I do. I try to anyway.
Yeah, no, I do. Otherwise, I've got friends of mine who in bands, and they just go, "Oh yeah, I just like accept whatever," and it's like, yeah, and you wonder why you end up with like nutters fucking posting all over your wall and shit like that. It's bizarre.
Yeah, and I get all these friend requests, and I accept about half of them usually, just on average, and then I end up on stuff that I don't want to see.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm kind of weird because if I get tagged in a like a post by somebody who like likes the band, or somebody who's a friend of mine tags me in a comment on the Acid Rain page or something like that, I always remove it straight away because I know what's going to happen. I can literally look at the clock and go, right, I've got about the friends requests are going to start coming in from people who I have no clue who they are.
Yeah, that's like, especially with us too, on the Dark Angel page, we make it a point not to tag any of the members in the band, because as soon as that happens, you just get a bunch of friend requests.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to have contact with these people, it's just, I don't know you. What? I mean...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess it's the internet equivalent of just turning up at your door.
Yeah.
You know? Just kind of like, hey,
it is.
I really like the band. Can you invite me in for coffee so we can talk about the band?
Yeah. Kind of like the old MySpace days, too.
Ah, hey, MySpace. God, what a couple of old cunts we are.
No kidding. Actually, MySpace I thought was really cool. I got into it just at the very end before it died off, and I thought it was really cool how you could do your own HTML-looking page for yourself.
Yeah, no, I liked MySpace. I really did, but the power of Facebook even then was just beginning to show its ugly head.
Yes.
And then that was it. And then
apparently I've been on Facebook since 2007, but I never really started using it until 2010, maybe.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I saw a post the other day. You know, you get the posts from Facebook, helpfully telling you, that. And, hey, last month's memories. And it's like, Jesus, last month, leave it out. I got one on my wall from Facebook saying 27 years ago today. And I was like, eh? Really? And it taken an event in my life and turned it into a Facebook timeline post.
Wow.
I know. Yeah.
Had you written anything about that previously on Facebook, or even mentioned it?
I've just out. It was just out of life events, like information that you put up there. I can't remember what it was now, but I deleted the post straight away, and then I just file. Obviously for the band and stuff like that, but personally, I'm cutting back on it these days because it's just, yeah.
I'll get up in the morning, and I'm drinking my coffee, and then I'll pop in sometimes during the day, but I don't post very often. I don't even usually comment on other people's posts. I guess it kind of makes me look like a dick, but
I was going to say
I'm not that interested.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
I guess it's not. It doesn't make you look like a dick. It just makes you look like you don't use Facebook very much.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's kind of the truth. Like I said, I like to look at it when I'm bored and I have a minute, but I don't feel that I need to post like some people do numerous times a day.
Yeah. Although...
you know what's really weird?
Go on.
What's really weird is Facebook advertises to things that I'm talking about at home or whatever, and I'm not on Facebook, like...
Yeah.
Last week, I was talking with my girlfriend about we need to buy a new weed eater, a line trimmer for the yard. I go and open Facebook, and what am I seeing? Advertisements for line trimmers.
Yeah.
Talking about changing the oil on my truck. What do I see? Advertisements for oil on my timeline. It's just really weird.
So have you WhatsApp? Do you use WhatsApp at all?
I do not.
Right, okay, yeah, because that's something else that's owned by Facebook, and despite the fact that your messages are encrypted, they do lift information out of that. Instagram's now, anyone can advertise anything on Instagram. But I know what where the fuck has this come from? How do they know to advertise me?
How do they know what I'm talking about? It's very strange.
Yeah, well,
something I'm not interested in.
yeah, Instagram, dumb shit with just pictures, as opposed to Facebook, where it's just people losing their minds over needless shit.
Yes.
Either that, or it's just like, avert political and all sorts of stuff like that. And I just,
I avoid politics on there.
Yeah, which is getting harder and harder to do. I mean, for you guys, I guess it was Trump, and for us over here, it was the whole Brexit thing. That all of a sudden, everybody decided that it was absolutely fine to just talk about your politics all over social media, which was kind of really weird for me, because I've always been a sort of politics is private kind of guy.
Yeah, me too.
And then all of a sudden, boom, everyone's just talking shit all the time.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they take it way too far, over politics. Like people losing friends and stuff over politics. Really? So what? You have a difference of opinion. Move on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hello, sorry about that. Technology sucks.
Yes, it does. But look at this, we're having an international phone call and it's not really costing us anything. So
I know. Yeah, I mean, well, when we were touring together, it was like, get shitloads of...
Yes, at every chance you could get to, or buy a card.
And that's just like, that's just crazy, the way things have changed.
Yeah. Hell, even pornography is free now.
Instead of having to go around the world buying magazines.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, slight detour. You were saying, so you didn't realise you were playing on an album that is effectively Christian metal.
Well, actually, I didn't realize I was in a Christian metal band until I'd been with them for about a year. And I kind of looked over the lyrics and saw and investigated a little further and found out, it's a Christian metal band. Which is fine by me. I mean, I'm not anti-Christian. I'm not anti-religion at all. But personally, my feelings on it is I'm more of an agnostic. But I have no problem playing with people who are inspired by a higher power.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair enough.
Yeah, and I actually have a good time with these guys.
And I love the way you say you actually have a good time with these guys. Like being in a band is like, it's not often you have a good time.
It's very true. You don't always have a good time.
Yeah. It's well, especially the longer you're on the road, which I guess is which is cool with the way things are with Dark Angel as well. Is like, without putting too fine a point of it, you're not actually in each other's company that long.
No, for a weekend or maybe a few days, maybe 5 days, we'll get together and rehearse for a couple of days and go out and play a show. That's the only time I see those guys, really, at the moment.
But it's cool that you get to see each other and hang out and kind of like, just kind of, long enough to sort of reconnect and have a good time, and then it's, until the next time.
The thing now is we're all nice to each other. We all get along really well. Before everyone was always bagging on each other. I mean, not that it was a bad thing. It was just, our camaraderie. That's what guys do.
Yeah.
Especially younger guys. They're brutal to each other. Now we're all just really nice. We get along great. Never have any problems. No arguments. Not that we really did before, but it's really fun now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And now that we've actually come back, we're way bigger than we ever were. That's what's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's take 20 years off, come back, and you're like 10 times the band you were before.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? Because that whole legacy thing, completely unaware of it.
And it grows.
Yeah. Just kind of like, you're just going about your day for the next 20 years or whatever, and then all of a sudden you get back together, you do a couple of gigs and think, Jesus, what happened?
Yeah. We're actually living it now the way that I always thought it would be. Being treated really well, getting these great shows, and it's pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome.
It is, and it's no more than you deserve. I mean, to be I mean, I think I get. You've been a lot more influential than you realise, and I think stuff like that happens after you split up. You know, because when you're in a band, you're just surrounded by contemporaries. When you split up for 20 years, there's loads of bands who start citing you as influences. And, you know, unbeknownst to you, their fans have kind of wormholed on their favourite band's influences. And before you know it, you know, you've got this legacy that just snowballs.
And like when we play these shows that we're doing now, I see people of all ages in the audience, which I think is really cool. I mean, you see parents there wearing, say, a Dark Angel T-shirt, and their kids are right along with them. And it's before.
Yeah.
It was always all us guys around the same age doing the same thing, getting drunk and having a good time. But now it's turned into something that's good for everybody. I think it's really cool.
Oh, without doubt, and that whole you know, this is his first Acid Rain show. I'm staring at a 17-year-old who's about, and it just freaks me out. It's just like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
When you're introduced to somebody's child who isn't alive the last time you released a record, it's quite amazing.
It is. It's actually really cool. I think this whole genre of heavy music, and when I say heavy music, I'm including everybody from thrash to death metal and black metal, everything. I think it's kind of put in its own roots for a legacy. Because, I mean, you have other sounds, say grunge, for example, glam. There was no substance to it, and there was nothing for people to really let. But thrash metal and the extreme metal, it just keeps carrying over generation to generation. Really cool about it.
Yeah.
I think we have an advantage over other genres of hard music. The fact that people are just so rabid and so really into this whole music scene, it's quite an amazing thing.
It is, and I think you might have found the same thing. Is since we've been back, the vast majority of people keep asking the same question, which is, when's the new album? When's the new album?
Oh yeah, I get that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I don't have a solid answer for that. I can tell you, music. I think there's 5 songs that are pretty much ready to go right now. Lyrics are still being written by Gene. I can't give you any working song titles. I haven't actually named any of them yet. In the studio by the end of the year. As you know, we work around Gene's schedule. He's busy with Testament right now.
Yeah.
He's out on this massive tour with Slayer on the first leg of it, and then they have another leg to do. I think that starts in August. And I believe sometime after that, we plan on getting together and buckling down on this new album.
Well, that'd be cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's really cool that because it used to piss me off, people saying, "Oh, when's the new album?" all the time. And then somebody said to me, "Well, surely it's good that people care, and B, it would be worse if no one asked." And I kind of started thinking like, yeah, they've got a point, actually. You know.
Yeah. I decided for us to put out new music just as much as anybody else. In fact, I'm kind of chomping at the bit a little bit about doing it. But like I said, we don't really have a time schedule. We're not under a deadline to do this. We're going to do it when we can get it all together. I know Jimmy's been writing a lot. I have some demos that he sent me, and it sounds like Dark Angel, definitely. Yeah. I'm hoping that we get this done before the end of the year. I can't say exactly what we have going on for next year, but I know that we are going to be fairly busy.
Excellent. Are you going to be coming over to Europe again?
There's a good chance that we will be across.
Well, if you happen to be touring the UK, I know of a thrash band that used to be around back in your day.
Well, of course you'd be at the top of the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And then your agent goes, "Who? Not a fucking chance." Yeah.
No, in fact, aren't you guys working on something new also?
Yeah. We go in the studio end of July. We're working with Colin Richardson and we're going in end of July, and we'll probably be in the studio all of August, bit of September as well. It's and then it's kind of like Hunter label time. So it's people keep saying, well, when's the album out? It's like, well, we've got to record it, then we've got to shop it, then we've got to agree a deal, then we've got to sit into a release schedule, and then the album will come out. So
yeah, I'm exactly where you're coming from.
It's back to having. It's kind of weird because since we've been back, we've self-released a couple of songs, which has been really cool, and I've really in control of our own destiny and being completely independent. And it's weird because we're going to do an album, and then all of a sudden it's fitting into a label schedule, and running every bit of fucking social media past them. No, you can't say this. You can't give any song titles away yet. No, you can't say what the album's called yet. And it's I'm.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at now. I can't do those. We're not ready to put that information out for one, and it's just we have to. It helps us to kind of keep a bit of a mystery going with what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're kind of taking a minimalist approach to it, and it seems to be working for us. So,
no,
as far as social media and promotion is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think if you haven't got anything to say, then then don't say anything.
Yeah, exactly, and you don't want to say the wrong thing or possibly mislead anybody, so you have to be really careful in what you do say.
Yep, absolutely. And we've been really active on the live scene since we came back in 2015, and people are posting on our on our Facebook saying, "Oh, when are you playing so and so? And when are you playing so and so?" No shows booked this year. And the same mantra, we've got no shows booked this year. We're working on an album. I think we've you can turn into when are they going to be back around again? And I think it does people good.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with it. When it came about for us, I was thinking, man, we need to start putting out all kinds of information. Let's keep the interest up. And, and we decided to let's keep everything on the down low for now. And that it seemed to really work. But I was thinking just the opposite. People want to know information. We need to give it to them. But if you don't have the straight information to give to them, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, and like you say, it creates a bit of mystery. Make an announcement. People go fucking nuts and they share the shit out of that stuff.
Exactly. The same thing goes for the shows, especially like with us right now. We kind of pick and choose the ones that we want to play. I mean, we do get lots of offers, and we're not taking them all. But when we do, it becomes an event, and the shows are big. They're bigger, We're not burning people out on us yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like one show booked for the rest of this year, that's actually on the books, would be the California Death Fest in October. And, it's going to be...
And that's just fucking awesome. It really is. And of course you got to play your first show in Glasgow for 30 years.
Yeah. Place, what was it called? The Garage?
Yeah.
Is that correct? That was the place that we had played before. That was, I want to say Mayfair? Did it used to be called the Mayfair? We had played there 20-something years ago.
Yes. Yeah, we played the Mayfair 1990, so it would have been around the same time.
Yeah.
It's
I walked by it so many times while I was there, and then somebody said, "Yeah, that used to be the Mayfair." It's like, well, okay, I've been here. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I had a really good time in Glasgow.
Oh man, it was awesome to see you guys again. Although you fucking shocked the shit out of me. I didn't realise. I'd heard from somebody that you and Jean had arrived. And and I was talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, some guy burst through a crowd and gave me a huge bear hug. Maniac! It's
that was a good time. That was a really good time. I wish I would have got there earlier.
Oh mate, honestly, it was just I couldn't believe you and Jean made it, man, because that was really, really cool. Because I know what it's like when you've got to haul your ass, like you're rehearsing, then you've got to haul your ass all the way back to the hotel and then come all the way back into the city is just a pain. It was really cool to see you guys. I remember being in your dressing room when everyone was saying, right, okay, we've got to make a move. And when you were forcing people to take crates of beer.
it was going to go to waste, and I hate to see that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, take it.
Leave no beer behind.
Oh yeah, because I was the guy I got who was the son of a friend of mine who was I was staying at his place, and he was designated driver, and it was his first time on a guest list. It was his first ever time backstage. Then I got him kind of like side stage while you were playing. And then we came back afterwards as well, and like on the way, and then left with 2 crates of beer. and I was like, dude, the bar has been set really high. It is not always like this.
Yeah, and we had a pretty massive dressing room too. That was really cool.
Oh mate, it was awesome, wasn't it? It was like I don't know. You could. I've done shows smaller than that.
So have I. You know about the beer thing? Way back in the day when we were touring, I used to have it in our contract rider, 10 cases of beer. So that way, when they'd only supply 2, I was still happy. So a lot of times we'd end up with a lot of beer and we'd stack it up in the restroom on the bus.
Yeah,
and that was kind of like my domain, not the restroom, but the beer. That was my thing.
What were you?
Now I don't drink as much as I used to. I mean, I still drink socially, but I'm not as heavy a drinker as I used to be.
Well, none of us are.
Yeah.
What were you wandering? What bottle were you wandering around with at the end of that night?
Crown.
Yeah.
Crown Royal.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I know. Every time I saw you, you just did like, I couldn't even. Hey, Gons, you just point and you just give me the bucket. Drink.
Yep. Yeah, I think I drank most of that bottle with you and Derek.
Yes, probably, actually. I think so.
Yeah.
Derek's a cool guy. I've never met him before.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. Funnily enough, we friended each other on Facebook. And
those guys, they absolutely crush live. They're such a great band.
Oh, man, they were... I mean, other than yourselves, obviously... they were, band of the day. It was just energy. You can't go wrong with energy.
Yeah, exactly. They're so good, and they've always been that way too. We toured with them way back in the day, and they were just amazing to watch every night. Love those guys. Yeah,
they were really cool, man. Really cool. So, other than being a lot bigger than when you were in the day. Let's go back to when it was all first kind of happening. How did was it one person's idea? Who reached out to who? Was
You mean for now? At this time?
Yeah, coming back together, reforming.
Well, we had always talked about it, and it would just never seemed to be the right time because everybody was busy with their. It's been 20 years. We all have our lives have moved on. We've gone in different directions. Have careers and stuff. And we, like I said, we've been talking about it. We said maybe someday when the time's right. And then, oh God, I even hate to say his name. Don Doty started this rumor mill that the band was getting back together. And it wasn't entirely true. He had contacted me and said, hey, I've talked to everyone in the band. Do you want to be a part of this? I'm getting the band back together. We're going to go out and we're going to play shows. And we're going to do it my way, this and that. It's just everything was about him. But he misled me and told me that he had everyone on board. Things were going to be, this is how it's going to work. So I said, well, if you've got everybody to agree to it, then yeah, of course I'll do it. Turns out that he didn't have anybody on board. He didn't have the okay from anyone. And he was just blowing a bunch of smoke. And at that same time, with the rest of the guys in the band, we were talking. It just so happened that we were talking about getting it back together on our own. And I think that's what set Don up, was he heard something that possibly that the band's going to get back together. I want to be a part of it. So he jumped the gun on it and started telling everybody, yeah, the band's getting back together. So we decided, okay, let's do it now. We got back together. Yeah, we're doing fantastic with it.
The funny thing is that although I mean, I remember talking to you at the time and how much it pissed you off and all the rest. Don, I think, has actually inadvertently done you all a favour.
Yeah, he has. You know, I know his heart was probably in the right place because he wanted to be a part of it again, but he just went about it the wrong way, and he just started doing interviews and stuff and saying things that simply weren't true. So we had to distance ourselves from him.
Yeah.
And I don't really have hard feelings towards him. I just don't need him to be a part of this project.
Yeah.
He wouldn't fit.
Well, I guess for the same reasons that, you know, he hadn't been a part of the band since recording Darkness Descends, and, you know, really the band, you know, moved on without him.
When I first joined this band, he was only in the band. We only played together in the band, if that. I joined the band at the end of '86, and he was gone by the end of '87.
Right.
So I never really spent a lot of time with him. I don't really consider him a big part of it.
Yeah, well, certainly not in
with this incarnation of the band, I should say. He has his place with Darkness Descends, which is fantastic. It's a great place to be, but it's not us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But ultimately, you know, he kind of, I mean, I remember at the time, because I remember getting a message from you because I was logged into the forums as my alter ego Keith Platt, giving anybody who was pro Don a hard time. and I remember getting a message from you going, "Dude, there's so much shit going on that I you know that I can't even tell you about. But yeah, this is not happening with Don. You know, it's happening with Ron."
I just don't think he would fit with us.
Well, also from a, I mean, by the way, I mean, fucking hell, Ron's performance, all of your performances were great at Glasgow, but Ron, I said to him afterwards, I was like, man, I'd forgotten what a good frontman you are, because he knows how to talk to an audience, which sounds kind of crazy, but you know, we watched an all-day festival, and there was just like hardly any frontmen could really string a decent sentence together and relate to the audience. I couldn't believe his singing, man. He's wow. He performs a lot better when he's not absolutely wasted all the time. Yeah,
Ron's awesome right now. We're really happy with Ron. I don't think we would do this band if he wasn't part of it.
Yeah, he was absolutely killing it though. He was doing all of the high screaming and everything, and I was like talking to him afterwards, and you know, there was like not even a kind of a huskiness to his voice, nothing. It was like he'd just gone on stage and, like, you know, talked for an hour and a half. It was insane.
Yeah, the thing is, the person that he is on stage is the same person he is off stage. The way he talks to the audience, that's how he's going to talk to you face to face. It's just wrong. Yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And people appreciate that as well. People are, you know, it's so relatable, and you can always tell when somebody's kind of like putting on an act, and there's nothing really as off-putting as seeing somebody who they're not.
Yeah, with rehearsed raps between songs and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
And of course, a certain somebody nailed at the bass intro as well.
Yeah, I know. I always used to fuck that up. I used to dread that part of the set every night. It's like, oh man, here comes Merciless Death. Let's try not to choke it tonight. I would always find a way to.
Well, you fucking nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I was like, yeah, dude, that is awesome.
Actually, I think I'm a much better player now than I was back then. I mean, of course I'm still playing bass. So. But, and besides that, I'm not intoxicated when I'm up there playing anymore either, so that's not till afterwards.
Yeah, obviously. I sent you a clip of my spoken word show. Did that bring back a few memories for you?
Oh, yes, it did. In fact, you remembered things that I had forgotten.
Right.
I kind of blanked that out for a long time because that was really a nightmare, that whole situation.
Oh, God, yeah. Of course.
And I paid for that for a very long time.
Are you ever able to go back to Germany?
Yes, I've been back to Germany. I went back with Dark Angel 2 or 3 times after that.
Oh, wow.
So that was part of all the money that they wanted. I would be allowed entry to in and out of the country. They would give me work visas, apparently. And it worked. But, yeah, that was a scary time.
Well, you were in
10 days.
10 days, but it must have felt like fucking 10 years.
It felt like a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Nuremberg. They transferred me from Erlangen. I spent the first night in the city jail in Erlangen, and they transferred me the next morning to Nuremberg, which was an actual prison. And even the next morning after getting arrested, I still thought it was a joke. I didn't do anything wrong. But no.
Yeah. Well,
I got to see it. The first day in there, I saw a judge on a Saturday night. What was it? What do they call him? Director? I guess that would be what he's called. And struck the deal. Pay 50,000 Deutschmarks and you can get out of jail. And that was a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's like, a shitload of money back then.
Yeah, it was like $32,000.
Yeah. And, well, as you know, I mean, from my perspective, we had the same attitude as you did. After you'd been gone for a day, and we're all writing on the back of the bus, bunk for hire, CG and all, Gene and all having a bit of a laugh, and you always hear about members of bands spending time in jail, and it's like, hey, Gonz has earned his stripes, and then like a couple of days go by, and we're like joining the tour, and it's like, oh, we're not sure, and then like I said, when Gene came back from oh, you there?
Did I lose you?
Oh, I think so. You there?
I think I lost you.
I'm back. Hello. Hello. Oh.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I lost you for a minute.
Yeah, just a minute. But yeah, I was just saying that our attitude was really flippant when you were away as well. I think it was when Paul Loseby and Gene came back from like seeing you, and basically they were all like, guys, this really isn't funny. So what was the alternative?
Yeah.
$50,000 or 50,000 Deutschmarks, or you just like
stay in jail for up to 6 months for another trial, and then still that would no telling what the outcome of the trial would be.
Yeah.
It was really scary.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was in there, there was nobody who spoke English. Everything was in German, which obviously I don't speak German. So the things would come to you on the loudspeaker in the cell, and I'd hear all these German words, and I'd hear Gonzalez. It's like, they said my name. What's going on? Next thing I know, someone would be coming to the cell door would open, and they'd come take me out to go speak with somebody at the American consulate, or when Gene came, and it was a really scary experience. We were locked down for 23 hours a day. I got out for 1 hour or maybe 45 minutes to walk around in an area with maybe 500 other people in an area about the size of a tennis court. And we got there and we just walk in circles. That's what we would do for exercise, just walk around the outer perimeter of it and then go back to our cells.
Wow.
So, yeah, I couldn't read magazines. It was all in German. Couldn't watch TV. It's all in German without subtitles. And, it was really an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, not in a good way.
Yeah.
And presumably, when you're mixing with those 500 people, when you're exercising, you got no fucking idea what they're doing there.
Yeah, no. The day that I got released, I met an American that morning who had been in jail for 2 years. I guess he had gotten in a fight with his wife. Maybe he hit her. I don't really remember his story. But he said he had been in there 2 years without any contact from anybody. It was like, oh my God, I don't need to hear this. This is the last thing I need to hear about. And it was finally.
Well,
I choose getting released over talking to somebody any day, But yeah, it was really scary.
Yeah.
Released, I guess. What was the promoter's name for the German leg of the tour? Oliver.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oliver had left me some money for when I got released and a change of clothes. So when I got released, they took me in a cab to the train station, and then I had to figure out how to get from the train station into Frankfurt. And here I am. I'm going, through the train station trying to read signs, not knowing what the hell I'm doing, carrying a garbage bag with my clothes in it. But I made it. I made it back within 2 hours of our flight leaving London to fly home. I barely made it.
Shit. Well.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, where fucking hell? Because it just was. It was nothing to do with you. That was just.
I know.
So.
I swear on my life, I had absolutely nothing to do with it. I was completely innocent.
Yeah. No, you were one of the bystanders. Well, I think was it you, Dodds, and Eric that got pulled by the police.
Yeah, it was me, Dodd, Eric, and I think who was the other merch guy? Colin? No.
Oh
Colin?
yeah.
Was it?
Oh no,
Colin?
Dano.
Dano, book 'em, Dano. Yeah, it was Dano.
Yes.
Dano and Dotto. Yeah, the four of us got arrested in a Burger King of all places.
I remember.
Yeah.
And because I didn't believe Dodds when he told me the following morning, I was just like, yeah, fuck off, no way.
Well, see, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that out of everyone that was arrested, I was the only person carrying a passport, so they had a positive ID on me.
Right.
And then they had put me in a lineup, so that person picked me out and said I did it.
Yeah. Which, in effect, you just looked like any number of people who could have done it, because we were all wearing leather jackets, denim, long hair.
Leather jackets with denim vests.
Yeah.
And I still have that denim vest and jacket.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've got looking me and you drinking beers in Hamburg. What was the German dude who was on the tour who moved to Brazil but come back again? Matthias, that's it. Man, he was a dude and a half.
Oh yeah.
Really into drinking vodka and shit, and I owe him, because he helped me get away from the huge fight that we had whilst you were in jail.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that.
I think that was
who was the other guitar guy that was guitar tech, English guy?
Oh, Jim.
Jim,
fucking Geordie bloke.
Yes.
Yeah. He was really difficult to understand, even if you're English, never mind you're from the States. He's just like, yeah. You're right, fella. Yeah, he's and Malcolm, the bus driver, one of the bus drivers, Malcolm, was the one who got he got kicked in the head, ended up in hospital. I look back on it now and I just think, how fucking stupid were we? The police were following the tour because of what had happened, and you were already in jail, and we get involved in a huge fucking brawl.
Yeah.
Yep,
that was a lot of fun, though, when you think about it. I can look back on it now and think, that was quite an experience, and I've got stories to tell.
I'm telling them on stage and charging.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
I think, yeah. It's like, yes, we were really fucking stupid, but pretty cool story, though.
Yeah, very cool story.
Yeah, because there's going to be none.
There's a whole lot of stories. I wish I could remember them all. It's been so long and so many stories.
Well, the thing is,
these things confused. I get one story mixed in with another.
Yeah, Yeah, the details get blurry, and yeah, people appear in stories that shouldn't be in there and shit like that. The stories of like being on tour now are kind of like, yeah, the dressing room was really big, and the food was really nice, and
Yeah.
Party. Whereas back in the day, it was just like, oh, can't go in there. Oh, why is that? There's just lots of people on the floor. What do you mean? Don't go in. Well, what do you mean? There's lots of people on the floor and not many people wearing clothes. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, man, yeah. Those were the days, eh? Those were the days.
Yes, good time.
You're a bus driver now, yeah?
Yes, I drive a school bus.
Right, that's really... So, are you a proper driving the yellow school bus driver?
Yes, I am. A big 72-passenger school bus.
Awesome. So you are...
I still can't believe that they let me drive a bus. They put me in charge of a bunch of kids, but they do.
And are you the cool school bus driver that they all like?
Well, see, I live in kind of a rural area, and most of the kids don't really, which I'm trying to change them on that, but a lot of them like country music and pop music and stuff, and they don't really know too much about what I do. I mean, a few of them do. I get kids come up to you and say, "Is that you?" It's like, "Yeah, that's me." And, they're kind of impressed by it, but for the most part, most of them don't really know too much about me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. My history in my past, they would never listen to me.
Yeah.
My authority would be 0.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's still really cool though. So what do you get up to when you're not if you're not playing bass? You got any other hobbies?
God, no.
Yeah, I know.
I used to do a lot of woodworking and stuff like that back when I was living in LA, but now not much.
Shit, so
I'm actually really busy playing bass.
Yeah.
Lately, last couple of years, it's been really busy. I was doing the Viking thing for a while.
Oh, of course.
Did a couple little tours. I've also got a brand new project that's going to be announced here pretty soon, I think.
Yeah.
It's with a... Okay, I can't tell you the name of it. I can't tell you what we're doing, but I can tell you who's going to be in it.
All right, go on.
Because we actually don't have a name yet, and it's still in its infancy stages, but it's me, it's Chris Canella of Autumn's End, who just recently got signed to the New Combat label, Rob Dukes, formerly of Exodus, Paul, formerly of Sacred Reich.
Yeah. Right. Well, this is coming full circle because, funnily enough, one of my friends on the podcast Facebook page tried to hook me up with Greg and said, "Look, Greg, you need to get onto you and Howard need to have a chat about Greg's new band." So there you go. It's all coming full circle.
Yeah, I was just approached about this last week, and I said, "Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it." I mean, we've got some pretty heavy hitters there, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, I tell you what, man, you've just, first of all, you get to play for years with Gene, and now you're going to get to play with Greg Hall. I mean...
I know. And I'm just an average bass player, but I get to play with all these great guys, so it's pretty damn cool.
Well, you must have... I'm going to turn into Jasta for a minute. High tide rises all ships, I think if you're playing with those dudes, you're like, right, shit, I've got to up my game, I've got to be on point.
Yeah, actually, that's very true. And I love playing with all kinds of different people because it does exactly that. It helps you up your game.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've never been in a band other than Acid Rain. I don't want to fucking up my game for no one.
Go with what's tried and true, stay the course.
That's absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Somebody, somebody said the other day, I was asked, who would you love to work with? And I said, you know what? I think out of anybody, I would love to work with Ronnie Dio. And then my voice is going to sound like shit next to Ronnie Dio's. Forget that. It's like, no, forget.
You guys would probably be about the same height too, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. We could. Oh man, it would have been so cool. But make hologram instead.
There you go.
Yeah.
I heard his hologram's really small though. That it's like 3 feet tall. That's what I heard. It's really disproportionate to the rest of the band.
Yeah, I mean, it did a tour over here, and it really fucking struggled.
Did it?
Yeah, Wendy Dio brought it to the UK and a few dates in Europe, and it was playing a very kind of like middle of the road venue size wise, and yeah, I just don't think people went for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get it.
No.
I understand on one side they want to introduce people to his legacy and people to see Ronnie James Dio who never got a chance to see him. But I mean, for lack of a better term, it kind of looks like a cash grab, but I don't know if that's what it is or not. It's just, I don't know. I just think they should leave it alone. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, I think all of those reasons you know that you've mentioned there, it's like, oh, you know, they want to keep his legacy alive. Well, the music will do that. You know, it gives people a chance to see him who didn't get a chance. Well, you know what? Tough shit. I didn't get to see Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
I could fill a book with bands I've never seen that I wanted to see. But I you know,
completely agree.
And it just smacks a little bit as well for me of that whole entitled generation. You know, I never got to see Ronnie Dio, so now I'm going to go and see his hologram, and you can't stop me. And it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, I just thought that if musicians died, you didn't get to go to see them live.
Yeah,
I'm kind of old school.
That kind
like
of goes with dying.
Yeah,
somebody dies, it's game over.
It is a bit of an all-encompassing deal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh well, look, man. Look, it's been really good to catch up. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
We need to stay in touch more often.
Yes, absolutely. Well, look, once everything's announced with this project, I'll get you back on and let's talk some more.
Yeah, actually, I had to even reach out and get permission to mention this in this podcast. I reached out this morning to say, hey, guys, can I talk about this? And they said, yeah, sure, go for it. So.
Oh, wow. So that's cool, man.
The announcement should be made soon, but you're actually getting the first word on it.
Well, thank you very much. I wish my podcast wasn't monthly. That way I could actually be ahead of the game, but it'll be out at the end of the month. So
okay.
Everybody may know by then, but I really appreciate that, Gonz. That's really cool. Thank you.
Feel free to edit out any dumb things I may have said.
You haven't said anything dumb, mate. Not at all. This has been really cool. And like I said, once we've got some meat on the bones of the project, then I'll get you back on and we'll talk some more, and no doubt remember a few more stories as well.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool.
We will do that.
Okay, mate. Well, look, take care. It's always a pleasure. Have a good day, whatever you're doing. Have a nice weekend, man.
All right, and you have a nice evening. Go out and enjoy your Saturday night.
I will do. Well, you know what they say, Saturday night's all right for fighting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little bit old for that now, though. Maybe not.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Have a good day.
All right. Good talking to you. Talk
you
to
too.
You later.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, God. Good old Gonz. Love him. And there you have my chat with Gonz. And yeah, a world exclusive right here on the Bollocast, on Talking Bollocks, that Gonz is going to be playing bass, and Eric from Dark Angel is going to be playing guitar in, I want to say Greg Allman. Greg Hall's new band. So that sounds fucking awesome. So I will do my best to get Greg Hall on here, and as soon as the news is sort of more public, and have a chat with him. We've got a few. I've got another. what is it, friend in common because of Gons, but a few other, we've got a few other mutual friends as well. Not friend in common, mutual friends is the phrase I wanted to. My fucking brain is like a turd today. But there you go. That's what I meant. So yeah, pretty awesome, huh? Pretty fucking awesome. Howard gets an exclusive. Oh, yep, just getting a little bit fucking up my own arse there. But everybody else is looking forward to that as much as I am, because that sounds fucking awesome. That really does. So it was great to catch up with Gons. I hope the audio quality was okay, and it wasn't too quiet for you. And we're I'm kind of now winding down towards the end of the podcast. One thing I've been meaning for weeks to mention, it's not on broadcast anymore, and if you can find it on catch up on any channels or anything, it's really worth digging out. Mike Judge presents Country Stars. Okay, Mike Judge, who created King of the Hill and of course Beavis and Butthead. It's an animated series where he interviews outlaw country stars of the past about their lives, and the animation is brilliant. It's really funny, and but some of the life stories are I've watched the whole thing. I just binged on it. Some of the life stories are incredible. I mean, these, they make metal musicians and their shenanigans look like fucking nothing, and also their drug taking for that matter. I mean, these guys did not fuck about. It's very, very cool. It's got nothing to do with metal. It's got plenty to do with music, though. And it's just absolutely superb. So I can thoroughly recommend tuning in to that. Oh, I do like a bit of tuning in, don't I? I do like a little bit of tuning in. As always, it's a pleasure to be in your ears. I'm just actually. I just want to do one final check, so I'm as up to date as I can be on the Vinnie Paul situation. Other than no, he died in his sleep. That's it. That's all we know at the moment. There's going to be an inquest. Not an inquest. There'll be a post-mortem, and then we'll find out exactly what's going on. But I just wanted to be as up to date and on the minute as I could be for that. For those of you that are listening to this when it comes out, I mean, it's God knows whenever, when anything like that is when the news is finally going to come out, and God knows when you're going to be listening to this. It's everybody has been coming out. I mean, everyone has been coming out and saying really cool things about Vinnie Paul. So, although I have seen something from somebody who said I've got absolutely nothing nice to say about him, so I'll keep my mouth shut. And funnily enough, I saw that on Facebook, and I thought, that's a random post. And I clicked one of the comments, and somebody put "taken way too soon," and I thought, oh shit, no, because this is how you find out news now these days, isn't it? These days, I sound like such an old cunt, but this is the world we live in, and you see something on Facebook and go, oh fuck me, no, surely not, that can't be true. So I went straight to Blabbermouth, and of course it was true, which again is such a shame. But also, that's how we find out news these days. I'm sure I've seen family members finding out stuff about about what's happened in their family on Facebook from someone else and all the rest. It's just utterly bizarre. Hey, anyway, a bit of a tangent there, but hey, that is what it's all about. Okay, right. I'm now going to do what is called some promotion. There is going to be a couple of specials. There are a couple of specials in the works. In the next couple of days, I'm going to be chatting with Ian Glasper. He's the man that put Contract in Blood together, which is the book. The book. Here it is. Hang on. Here we go. That's the book there. The book, which is the history of UK thrash metal. Nice big fat chapter on Acid Rain. There is also the Contract in Blood CD, which is a box set. I have 2 copies. Here is, and they're awesome. Each CD comes in its own cardboard case, and there's a big 42-page booklet in there. I mean, it's 5 discs of UK thrash from just fucking everybody, and basically a load of bands I haven't heard as well. It's a really, really, really impressive package. I have a copy of a sealed, brand new copy of Contract in Blood, the compilation, to give away. So I'm going to preview that by saying I am going to be giving that away. I'm going to be giving that away as soon as you listen to this. Now, this does go up early on Patreon. So what I'm going to do is I'm not gonna judge the winner until this goes out to the public and everything. And basically, you can get me at howard@allabouttherock.co.uk. That is my email address for the podcast. howard@allabouttherock.co.uk. And I've also got also Twitter @Talking Bollocks. That's Talking Bollocks with a Z on the end instead of an S. And there's also the Facebook page, Talking Bollocks. Now, basically, can you message me on Facebook, tweet me on Twitter, or email me and tell me why you should have this awesome CD box set. The person with the best reason, I will post it straight out to you. It is brand new, it is sealed, and it is yours to own. All you need to do is contact me and tell me what is the best reason that you can think of that you should have it above anyone else. And please don't make it, really fucking daft, okay? Give me some love here. Tell me genuinely why it is that you should have that, and I will announce the winner on next month's podcast. So there's another special in the works, and that is I'm doing a retirement special on Slayer. I so far have I've already got Slayer biographer Joel McIver. That interview's in the can. I've got Andrew O'Neill, heavy metal comedian, that's in the can. And I also have Malcolm Dome, that is in the can. By the way, all of those did extra stuff for the Patreon extra podcast as well. So it really is worth signing up. Sorry, I had to say that. And I'm just waiting on dates with Xavier Russell, who's one of the first people to really catch on to Slayer and think that they weren't a joke and they were going to be huge. And it's funnily enough, you'll hear that I interviewed Malcolm, and Malcolm said, you should speak to Xavier. So I'm trying to get him down. He sent me an email back saying, yes, let's talk. We're just trying to find a date. So, and as soon as that interview's done, I'll get that special out. So there's lots of stuff coming your way, and I'm working my nuts off here. I'm trying to get as much done as possible. It'd be great if you could sign up at Patreon, patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. I would really appreciate it. But look, I appreciate you all. You don't have to be a Patreon subscriber to be of value to this podcast. Every single one of you is. Please, please, please share this. Get people into Talking Bollocks. I really would appreciate it. I'm also working on not on a live Talking Bollocks show, but on one of my spoken word shows, like, Tales from Thrash History. I'm working on a London date at the moment. As soon as I have more information for that, I will let you know. For those of you in London, it's the same show that I did in Burnley last year. It's the same show I did in Glasgow in April as the pre-show to Lords of the Land, and I will be bringing that to London, hopefully. I'm just waiting to hear back from the promoter. So lots going on. And thank you so much for your support. I really do love being in your ears. I love being in your ears every month. I hope you like it too. And wherever you are, sat at your desk, on the bus, driving down the road, in the gym. Are you in the gym? Run faster, you fucking lazy cunt. Fucking work harder. Lift those weights. Do more reps. Spend half an hour longer in the gym than you were gonna. Do it. If you're out running, do an extra mile. Do it for Talking Bollocks. Do it for me, but more importantly, do it for the children. The kids. They are the future. Anyway, let's finish with a typical bit of random shit, eh? Look, I love doing this, and I really appreciate all of your time and all of your support. And now I'm going to finish with a thong, because that's the way you always finish, isn't it? And on the theme of Contract in Blood and the UK Thrash special, and all of you sending me here is some brand new music from some thrash metal legends. Okay? So, it's been great. It's been wonderful. I'll speak to you next month. There'll probably be a special out before next month, but I'm really... There's so much in the pipeline here, folks. Get on board. It's happening. This year's going to be better than ever. Hey? Making talking bollocks great again. Fuck you, Trump. I am the man. So anyway, here it is. This is a new single from UK Thrash legends, Satan. This is the Doomsday Clock.